Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there was a king named Harold. King Harold wanted to know where his citizens were at all times.
I order everyone to wear a bell around their neck.
The bells were big and heavy, making a loud noise whenever someone moved. The people were unhappy and tried to convince the king it was a bad idea.
I must be in control. If I know where everyone is, I can prevent crimes.
However, the wise minister Ellis saw the problems with this decree.
Sometimes people need to see the consequences of their actions to understand their mistakes.
Ellis believed in gentle persuasion and smart solutions. The minister decided to observe the effects of the king's order. He was patient, waiting for the right moment to step in and help the kingdom. Ellis knew that the bells would cause more harm than good. He had to find a way to show the king his mistake without offending him. The kingdom was falling apart and Ellis needed a plan. Soon the problem started to surface. The bells made it easy for bandits to track people.
Listen to those bells. We can hear them from miles away.
The citizens were scared, feeling more vulnerable than ever before. The farmers were the most affected. The noise scared away the animals and the crops suffered. The kingdom faced the threat of famine.
The people grew restless and started to question the king's wisdom.
Children found it hard to play and the constant noise took away their joy. Every move they made was accompanied by the loud jingling. The laughter and happiness in the kingdom started to fade. Ellis watched all this with a heavy heart. He knew he had to act soon. The kingdom was falling apart. The king's foolish decree was causing more harm than good. Ellis needed a plan.
Sometimes people need to see the consequences of their actions to understand their mistakes.
Ellis believed in gentle persuasion and smart solutions. The minister decided to observe the effects of the king's order. He was patient, waiting for the right moment to step in and help the kingdom. Ellis knew that the bells would cause more harm than good. Ellis came up with a clever plan. He approached the king and suggested an experiment.
Your Majesty, there is a special tree in the forest. Let's hang a single bell on the tree. It will ring whenever someone enters the forest.
King Harold was intrigued and agreed to try the experiment.
Very well, let's try this experiment.
The bell was hung on the tree and Ellis instructed the guards to monitor it.
The plan worked perfectly. The bell on the tree rang only when necessary. The noise was no longer constant, and the guards were able to do their job effectively. We are free from the burden of wearing the bells. We can move around quietly and safely.
Ellis's solution was simple yet brilliant. It showed that sometimes a small change could make a big difference. The king was impressed and realized he had been wrong.
I see now that Ellis's wisdom has saved the kingdom from disaster.
The people were happy again. They could go about their daily lives without fear. The kingdom was falling apart and Ellis needed a plan. With the bells gone, the kingdom started to flourish. The farmers could work in peace and the animals returned. The harvest was bountiful and there was enough food for everyone.
The threat of famine disappeared. The people were relieved and could see the positive changes happening around them.
The children were the happiest, playing freely again. The fields were once again filled with their laughter.
The kingdom seemed to come alive. The people appreciated the quiet and the peace. They were grateful to the wise minister for his clever solution.
King Harold also changed. He started to listen to his people and realized that being a good leader meant caring for his subjects. He began to value the advice of his minister.
The king's attitude transformed. He became a better ruler.
Ellis continued to serve the king faithfully. Together they worked to make the kingdom a better place. The people respected and loved their king. They knew that he had their best interests at heart. The kingdom prospered under their wise leadership. The story of King Harold and the wise minister Ellis spread far and wide. It became a lesson in true leadership.
True leadership, he realized, was about caring for the people and their needs.
The kingdom thrived because of the king's transformation. Other rulers came to learn from King Harold.
Ellis's role was also celebrated. He showed that wisdom and patience could solve even the most difficult problems.
The tale of the foolish king and the wise minister became a guiding light. It reminded everyone that leadership was not just about power. It was about empathy, wisdom, and the willingness to listen. In the end, King Harold's realization changed everything. He became a beloved leader. His people admired him for his humility and his willingness to learn. The kingdom entered a golden age of prosperity. Trade flourished, and the arts and culture thrived.
The king often reflected on his journey. He was grateful for Elis's wisdom. He knew that without his minister's clever solution, the kingdom would have suffered.
The citizens enjoyed a time of great happiness. They were proud of their kingdom. They knew their voices mattered.
King Harold's story inspired future generations. It taught them that mistakes could be corrected.
The kingdom of King Harold and the wise minister Elis stood as a testament to the power of wisdom and compassion. The transformation of King Harold and the prosperity of his kingdom became a legend.